Griot Audio presents Sinners and Saints by Victoria Christopher Murray and Reshonda Tate Billingsley. Narrated by Patricia R. Floyd.
Chapter 1. How in the world was Jasmine going to keep her promise to God now? 2 years ago, she had promised him that if he saved her daughter when she was kidnapped, if he brought her home safely, then she was going to live a life devoted just to him. Jasmine had vowed that with Jacqueline's return, she was going to live the life that God had for her as Hosea's wife, as Jacqueline and Zaya's mother. She wasn't going to want for anything more than what God had given her, because surely he had supplied her with enough. God had done his part. And for the last 2 years, Jasmine had done her part too. She'd lived a low-key life, thrilled that her greatest dramas were debates about fashion choices every morning with her 7-year-old daughter. But how was she supposed to keep her promise to God now, after what her husband had just told her? "So hold up," Jasmine said, slipping into the chair across from Hosea. "I thought you were just going to the convention as the keynote speaker." Hosea nodded. "So explain this to me again." With a sigh, Hosea folded the newspaper he'd been reading and placed it on the table. He stuffed his mouth with a forkful of pancake, chewed for a moment, then said, "The call came in from a friend of Pop's, Pastor Earl Griffith. He thinks I need to submit my resume." "To be the head of the American Baptist Coalition?" Hosea nodded. "But we're not Baptist." His eyes danced with his amusement. "Get out of here." "You know what I mean," Jasmine said, waving one hand. "I just don't get it. Why would they call you?" "They didn't call me. Only Pastor Griffith. Seems like there are a couple of men in the running, though according to Griffith, the front runner is Pastor Adams, Lester Adams from the southern region." Jasmine frowned. "I've never heard of him." "Out of Houston. But Pastor Griffith doesn't think Adams is the man. Seems that the last 4 presidents have been from the South, and Griffith and a couple of other pastors on the board think that the coalition needs someone from the North, someone more progressive, to really move the organization forward." "And they think that can be you?" "Not they, darling. I told you, Griffith called me." "But you said there were others who agreed with him." Hosea nodded. "Apparently they don't have anyone from the North who they think can go up against Adams. I guess they think my name could win this." "That makes sense to me." "It doesn't matter how much sense it makes, darling. I told Pastor Griffith that I'm not interested." As if she didn't hear any of Hosea's last words, Jasmine whispered, "Wow." Old thoughts, familiar desires came to her mind, of power and prestige and money. How much money would a president receive? She didn't know a lot about the American Baptist Coalition, but she knew enough. Like the fact that they were the largest African American religious organization and wielded major political clout. And as much as black folks loved religion, the head of the ABC would have a boatload of power. And so would his wife. Talk about being the first lady. "Jasmine?" "I'd be the first lady of, like, the world," she thought. "Jasmine." "Huh?" Her eyes were glassy with images of her future, and it took her a moment to focus on Hosea. His admonishment came before he even said a word. It was in the way his eyes narrowed, and the way he'd already begun shaking his head. "Don't even think about it."
Sample complete. Ready to continue?